The smell of freshly baked bread always gives me a sense of accomplishment. Every batch of golden croissants and every perfectly decorated cake represents more than just recipes. They are pieces of my story, my effort, and my dream coming true. But it seems like not everyone sees it that way. 6 years ago, I was just a woman with a deep passion for baking. I grew up watching my grandmother make incredible desserts in her small kitchen. The way she mixed the ingredients with such love, the patience she had waiting for the dough to rise, it was magical to me. Since I was a child, I knew I wanted to follow that path, but reality was much harder than I expected. Opening Sweet Victory took every cent I had. I worked 3 jobs at the same time to save money. While other people were sleeping, I was studying recipes, testing doughs, trying to find the perfect flavors. I burned myself countless times in the oven, cried when a recipe failed, and spent sleepless nights fearing everything would collapse. When I finally opened my bakery, it was a disaster. In the first month, barely any customers came in. I stood behind the counter, waiting, hoping, but almost no one showed up. There were moments when I thought about giving up, but I couldn't. This was my dream. So I kept trying. I learned how to promote my business, improved my recipes, made partnerships, and little by little, customers started coming. And then one day, it happened. I saw the bakery full. People waiting in line, praising my pastries, coming back for more. That was the moment I knew. I made it. My husband, Leo, always said he was proud of me. But now, looking back, I realize he was never really by my side. He wasn't there when I stayed up all night, when I cried from exhaustion, or when I thought nothing would work out. He only showed up when the bakery was full, smiling as if he had been part of it. But in reality, he never helped. And now, he wants me to give it all away to his brother, Harry. As if my effort meant nothing. As if I were obligated to sacrifice everything I built. And I wonder, does no one see how much this means to me? The day was calm at Sweet Victory. I had just put a fresh batch of bread in the oven when I heard the bell over the door chime. Leo walked in with a smile, but something about his eyes made me uneasy. "Babe, we need to talk." I sighed, wiping my hands on my apron. I knew that whenever he started like this, it meant he had some brilliant idea that, in the end, would only bring more work for me. "What is it now?" I asked, half laughing, trying to lighten the odd tension. He stepped closer, held my hands, and said something that knocked the air out of my lungs. "I want you to give the bakery to Harry." For a moment, I thought I had misheard him. My heart pounded, and a lump formed in my throat. "What?" My voice came out louder than I expected. "Just listen." He squeezed my hands as if trying to calm me down. "Harry needs this. You know he just got married and is struggling. In our family, we always help each other. This would be a huge gesture to help him start his new life." I felt my face burn with anger. "You want me to just give away everything I built? To your brother?" "It's not just giving it away, Isa," he insisted. "It's family, family." That word echoed in my head, making me even angrier. When I was pulling all-nighters, was family there to help me? When I had to sell my car to buy equipment, did anyone offer to support me? No. "Leo, I worked for 6 years to build this." 6 years? Do you have any idea what you're asking me to do? He sighed, crossing his arms. "You're doing well now, Isa. You built your name, you have loyal customers. I know the bakery means a lot to you, but you don't need it anymore." "Harry does," I wanted to scream. He spoke as if the bakery was a hobby, something I could just toss aside now that I was stable. "This isn't a toy I can give away when I'm done playing with it. This is my life." His face hardened. "You're overreacting. It's just a business, just a business." My stomach twisted. If it's just a business, then why doesn't Harry start his own? Silence. Then Leo smirked slightly, as if he had a trump card. Harry doesn't have experience, but he can learn. You could teach him. My blood boiled. I spent years failing and learning before I got it right. You think he'll magically become a baker in a month? Leo shrugged. You always say anyone can learn to bake with dedication. That was it. Learning is one thing. Taking what someone else built is another. His expression darkened. Think about it. You might regret this. He left, without even kissing me goodbye. And I stood there, feeling the ground shake beneath my feet. Night had fallen, but my mind was still racing. After Leo left the bakery, I tried to focus on my work, but his words kept echoing in my head. You might regret this. What did he mean by that? Was it a threat? A warning? I got home later than usual. The smell of food lingered in the air, meaning Leo had already eaten. He was sitting on the couch, scrolling through his phone, acting as if nothing had happened. You took your time, he muttered, not even looking up. I wanted to ignore him, but the anger inside me was still burning. Did you seriously think I'd accept this ridiculous idea? He finally put down his phone and crossed his arms, his expression cold. Issa, why do you always have to make things so difficult? I'm just trying to help my family. And when did my bakery become the solution to your brother's problems? He took a deep breath, as if forcing himself to stay calm. I just thought you'd understand, but since you won't help. He shrugged and went back to his phone, as if our conversation no longer mattered. A chill ran down my spine. Something felt wrong. What do you mean? Since you won't help. He hesitated for a second, then finally said it. Harry already stopped by the bakery today. My heart pounded. What? I told him to check out the place and get familiar with it. The blood drained from my face. My own husband was already acting as if the bakery wasn't mine anymore. Leo, have you lost your mind? How could you take Harry there without telling me? He rolled his eyes. It's not a big deal, Issa. He just wanted to see the place. Do you even realize what you're doing? You're trying to force me into this. He stood up, now annoyed. I'm just trying to handle this the easiest way. The easiest? Way for who? For me, the owner, who's being pressured to give up everything? He stayed silent. Because deep down, he knew I was right. I didn't sleep that night. If Harry had already been at the bakery, what else was Leo doing behind my back? The sun had barely risen when I arrived at Sweet Victory the next morning. My heart was restless, a heavy feeling in my chest I couldn't shake. I still couldn't believe what Leo had done. How could he have taken Harry to my bakery without even telling me? Even before unlocking the door, I noticed something strange. The lock looked different. My stomach twisted. With a lump in my throat, I pushed the door open and stepped inside. It felt like a punch to the gut. The counter was messy. Things were out of place. Some shelves were empty, and the most terrifying part, my recipe notebook was gone. My hands started to shake. I knew exactly where I left it every single day, inside a specific drawer in my office. I ran to check. Nothing. It was an old brown notebook filled with years of handwritten notes. My best recipes, my secrets, my journey. And now, it was missing. Tears stung my eyes. Who could have done this? The answer was obvious. Harry. Heat rushed to my face. I grabbed my phone, my fingers trembling with rage, and dialed Leo. What? He answered, sounding groggy. My notebook is gone. He was silent for a moment. What notebook? Don't play dumb, Leo. My recipe book. It's missing, and you know who was here yesterday. I heard a sigh on the other end. Issa, you're overreacting. Harry just checked out the place. Are you sure? Because my bakery was locked, and now someone got in and stole my recipes. He would never do that. I let out a bitter laugh. So you trust him more than me? Silence. His hesitation said everything. My chest tightened. I couldn't believe my own husband was letting this happen to me. Then my phone vibrated. A message. Harry. Hey, Issa. Sorry for stopping by the bakery unannounced. Leo gave me the key. I took some of your notes to study. We'll talk later. My blood turned to ice. Leo gave him the key. He took my notebook without asking, and he had the audacity to message me like it was nothing. I stared at those words on the screen, and something inside me snapped. The anger turned into a cold, clear realization. If I didn't stop them now, they would keep taking from me little by little. I stared at the message on my phone for several seconds. My heart pounded so hard it felt like it would burst from my chest. Harry had the audacity to break into my bakery, steal my recipes, and act like it was nothing. But what truly sent a chill down my spine was knowing that Leo gave him the key. That was the moment I realized. This wasn't just Harry taking advantage of me. Leo was on his side. A wave of fury rose in me, but instead of losing control, I did something I'd never done before. I took a deep breath, gripped my phone tightly, and typed a short but firm message. Harry, you have 30 minutes to return my notebook. If not, I'll take matters into my own hands. I didn't know exactly what I would do, but he didn't need to know that. Not even a minute later, Leo stormed into the bakery, his face red with anger. What the hell are you doing, Issa? I crossed my arms, standing my ground. No, Leo, what the hell are you doing? Did you seriously give my bakery key to Harry? He rolled his eyes. Stop overreacting. He just wanted to get a feel for the business. And for that, he needed to steal my recipes without telling me. Leo hesitated. I saw the guilt in his eyes, but he still tried to play it off. He just wants to learn, Isa. You can't be so selfish. I let out a bitter laugh. Selfish? I spent 6 years building this place with my own hands. Do you even understand what I went through to make it happen? He crossed his arms, his face hardening. You're acting like this is the end of the world. At that moment, the bakery door swung open, and Harry walked in like he owned the place. In his hands, my notebook. But what made my blood boil wasn't just seeing it in his hands. It was the colorful markings all over the pages, as if he had already studied every detail. He flashed a smug smile. Issa, my bad, huh? Should have given you a heads up. But hey, I read through your recipes and I've got some ideas to modernize them. I saw red. I marched over and snatched the notebook from his hands. Modernize? You don't know a damn thing about baking. Harry took a step back, surprised. I turned to Leo, hoping, just maybe, he'd feel some kind of shame. But to my disappointment, he just rubbed his neck and sighed. Issa, no need to make a big scene. My vision blurred with rage. You two actually think you can take what's mine and expect me to just accept it? Harry smirked. Issa, chill. In the end, this is going to be a family business. I clutched my notebook against my chest, forcing myself to breathe. That was when I realized this wasn't just a fight. It was a war, and I wasn't going to lose. I stood there, clutching my notebook to my chest, while Harry and Leo stared at me like I was the crazy one. But for the first time, I didn't care what they thought. I knew exactly what I needed to do. Without saying another word, I walked over to the door and locked it. Harry raised an eyebrow. Issa, what the hell is this? I looked straight at him, a strange calm washing over me. You want my bakery? You want my recipes? Listen closely. If you ever want to step foot in here again, you'll have to pay for it. Leo frowned. What are you talking about? I turned to him, my gaze cold as steel. From now on, you two are banned from this place. Neither of you will ever step inside Sweet Victory again without my permission. Harry let out a mocking laugh. Oh, come on. You can't do that. I held up my phone, showing them the screen. I already did. I changed all the locks. None of the old keys work anymore. And if either of you tries to break in again, I'm calling the cops. Harry's smile vanished. Leo took a step closer, trying to soften his voice like he always did when he wanted to manipulate me. Babe, there's no need for this. Let's talk. I crossed my arms, standing firm. Funny, you didn't want to talk before giving my key to your brother. I just wanted to help. I scoffed. Help who, Leo? Because the only one who lost something here was me. Harry finally lost his patience. Isa, stop being ridiculous. I told you I want to take this bakery to the next level. You're stuck in the past. That was it. My patience snapped. Listen carefully, Harry. You will never touch this place. If you want a bakery, open your own. Your way, with your money. But Sweet Victory? It's mine. And you will never change that. His face turned red with anger. You're being childish. I folded my arms and smirked, completely unfazed. Childish? Childish was thinking you could walk into my space and take everything I built. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have customers to serve. Before either of them could say another word, I swung the door open and pointed outside. Get out. Harry hesitated, but Leo grabbed his arm and pulled him toward the exit. Before leaving, my husband looked at me with a mix of frustration and maybe regret. You're going to regret this, Isa. I took a deep breath, keeping my head high. Maybe, but at least this time, if there's a mistake, it'll be mine, not yours. As soon as they left, I shut the door and took a deep breath. For the first time in a long time, I felt in control, but I knew this wasn't over yet. Leo and Harry weren't going to give up that easily, and I was ready for them. The days that followed weren't easy, even though I had a temporary victory. By kicking Harry and Leo out of my bakery, the feeling of having control in my hands was just a temporary relief. It didn't take long for me to realize they wouldn't accept defeat without trying something more. The next morning, I was surprised by a message from Harry. It appeared on my phone, cold and direct, as if nothing had happened between us. Isa, can we talk? I think we have a lot to gain together. Isa, I know you're upset, but you need to understand something. Harry isn't the villain in this story. Those words cut through me. But instead of responding with anger, I took a deep breath and asked directly, "Then explain it to me. Leo, why did you give the key to my bakery to your brother without consulting me first?" He stood silent for a few seconds, his expression visibly uncomfortable. I didn't think it through, Isa. I thought it was for the best. Harry is my brother, you know how it is, right? He wanted to learn, help, grow the business. Interrupted him, unable to take the excuse anymore. That's not help, Leo. That's an attempt to steal what's mine. And once again, you decided on my future without asking me. Frustration took over, but I kept calm, knowing that any wrong word could be used against me later. I know you're upset, Isa, but it's just a business. It's not the end of the world. You don't get it, do you? For me, this isn't just a business. The bakery is who I am. I put my sweat, my love into this place. It's not just a money-making spot, it's my life, Leo. The silence stretched on for a few seconds until he finally spoke, his voice softer. I understand, Isa. I know it was a mistake, but Harry is very involved now, and he'll try to convince you that it's best for everyone. I crossed my arms and looked at him colder than ever. And what will you support me in, Leo? Are you going to help me keep what's mine, or are you going to keep making wrong decisions like you did before? He looked away, visibly ashamed. I'll try, Isa. I want you to succeed. But understand, it won't be easy. Harry won't give up that easily. I shook my head. I know. But you're already more involved than you think. I don't know who to trust anymore. You were the first to betray me, and now I'm alone in this. He looked at me, his eyes full of regret. I'm really sorry, Isa. I messed up, I know that. But there's still time to save our relationship. Let's fix this. I moved away, looking at the counter where so much blood, sweat, and tears had been spilled. I don't know if there's anything left to save between us, Leo. All I know is that no one is taking what I built with my own hands. He stood there for a few more seconds, as if he wanted to say something, but couldn't. Finally, he left, leaving me alone with the anguish and frustration. But now, I knew I had to prepare for the war ahead. And no matter who tried to stop me, I would do whatever it took to protect my bakery. The next night was quieter than I would have liked. The sound of my footsteps echoed through the empty bakery as I closed up. Each movement felt heavier than it should have, as if the atmosphere had completely changed since Leo's visit. I could feel the weight of a game that was beyond me, a game in which there was no room for hesitation anymore. It was now or never. Harry had pulled back, but I knew he was just waiting for the right moment to act. He had the ability to manipulate everything around him, like a chess piece being carefully moved, and I was his queen, the one he wanted to sacrifice. I was sitting behind the counter, thinking about the next steps when the phone rang. It was an unknown number, but my intuition told me it was Harry. I took a deep breath and answered, ready to face the storm that was coming. Isa, we need to talk. I know you're upset, but this game doesn't have to be this way. We can find a way to resolve things peacefully. I took a deep breath, trying not to lose my cool. But those words irritated me in a way I couldn't control. Peacefully. How could he talk about peace after everything he and his brother had done? Harry, you don't get to talk about peace anymore. You and Leo betrayed me. There's no going back for us. And I won't let you mess with what's mine. He was silent for a moment, as if processing my words. Then, his voice came through, calmer but still with ulterior motives. Isa, all I did was try to help. I saw an opportunity for growth, and I wasn't trying to destroy you, understand? I just wanted to grow together with you, make our family stronger. I laughed, but it wasn't a pleasant laugh. It was a bitter laugh. Our family. Harry, you don't understand what it means to build something from scratch. I didn't do this to let someone else come in and take my place. This isn't just a business. This is my life. There was a tension. In the air, a feeling that words were no longer enough. The game was on, and now I needed more than words. I needed action. I needed to prove, once and for all, that my bakery was not for sale, and that no one could take what was mine. In the following days, I began to take more serious steps. I closed the bakery during the night, something I'd never done before, and started reevaluating every aspect of the operation. I knew Harry was watching, waiting for a moment of weakness to strike. But this time, he wouldn't find any openings. I went to a security company and requested increased cameras and extra surveillance overnight. My bakery was more protected than ever, but the biggest threat still lay in Harry's mind. He wouldn't give up easily, and I knew he was preparing for his final play. That's when I realized I couldn't do this alone anymore. It was time to call on allies. If Harry and Leo wanted to make this a family game, I had my own family. The people who believed in me and were willing to fight for what we'd built together. I went to Carla, a trusted friend who had always been part of my life and my bakery, and decided to tell her the whole truth. Carla, I don't know where to start, but I'm facing a situation that's beyond me. Harry and Leo are trying to take the bakery. They want to usurp what I've built with so much effort, and I need your help to stop it. She looked at me intently, her eyes full of concern, but also a silent determination that gave me strength. Isa, don't worry, I'm with you. We'll face this together. They won't destroy what you've built. Those words were everything I needed to hear. I wasn't alone in this fight anymore. Now, I had allies by my side, and that gave me renewed confidence. From that moment on, there would be no more excuses. Harry and Leo couldn't count on my indecision anymore. They were about to face a battle they weren't ready to win. As I prepared for the final showdown, I knew it was just a matter of time before Harry made his last play. He was getting closer. I could feel the tension in the air. But I was more than ready. I had something they didn't have, the strength of a woman who had fought for her life and wasn't going to let anyone steal what was hers. I closed the bakery door that night with a new purpose, knowing that the day of truth was coming. And this time, the one who would emerge victorious would be the one who believed in her dream the most. And I believed in mine. Sometimes, you have to remember where you started, so you don't forget what you have to lose. No matter what happens, you always have the power to fight for what's yours. Never underestimate the strength of someone who has the passion and determination to protect what they've built with so much love. Hey everyone, have you ever been through something like this? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you won't miss anything. Oh, and if you haven't watched the video about family betrayals, click here and check it out. I'm sure you'll be surprised. Go ahead, share your thoughts, and let's keep the conversation going.